yeah, the yarn was so nice, I swatched it twice. Hey guys, welcome back to the String Things channel. My name is Mel. I'm a stay-at-home mom living in Vancouver, and this channel is where I talk about my knits. So right away, let's get into it. I've got a finished object to share. It is Darcie's Halloween costume. So pretty much my husband's idea, but I'm totally on board with it. We've decided to dress her up as Little Red Riding Hood. And my husband showed me a picture. I said, cool, yep. And then he said, can you make it? So that's kind of the burden of being the crafty one. You just kind of, there's always this assumption that I'm going to make it. Which, to be fair, like I do, but there's a bit of pressure that goes along with that. But anyways, it was Canadian Thanksgiving long weekend when my husband asked me, and I said, well, you know what, if I start now, I could probably get it done by Halloween. And yeah, this only took me like 2 or 3 days. And technically I did it twice because I knit pretty much half of it and frogged it and restarted. So here it is. It is a hooded cloak, just what Little Red Riding Hood wears. I still got the ends to deal with. I used a free pattern that I found online, but this isn't exactly knit up to pattern because I didn't have the right amount of yarn, and I didn't do a gauge swatch either. And I only had one skein of this red color. But the construction is pretty much, if you've done a circular yoke cardigan before, that's how this is done. You start at the neckline here with a provisional cast on so that you can work in either direction. So what I did, I started working on the cloak part as the pattern said. Then I realized that, you know what, I have to be careful about how much yarn I have. So I started and completed the hood first, then went back and joined the yarn and knit for as long as I could for this. And I ended up having to grab a different red to do the bind off, which I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, so it's not as long as my husband was planning for, but it's long enough. It goes to about her waist, like almost to her butt. If I stretch it out a bit, I haven't blocked this or anything. I don't know if I would really gain any more length with blocking. This is acrylic yarn. But yeah, I think it's pretty cute. It worked out pretty well. Single strand of acrylic yarn from my stash. It's a Michael's in-house yarn. I knit this using 8mm needles, so it's nice and big and loose, and also just I was trying to maximize the size. And this ribbon is just something I found in my sewing stash. Works out really well. Yeah, so the next issue I have with this though is whether Darcie's going to wear it. So she was so great all through the process of knitting this up. She would happily try it on as I was knitting it. But the moment I was done and I said, hey, come try on your costume. Nope. So I haven't been able to get this on her for more than a second. And I tried again today. I asked her. She was playing with some blankets and she was throwing them around her like a big shawl. I thought, okay, I'm going to try again. So, hey, want to try on this red blanket? She looks at, nope. Collapses to the floor and just like lays on the floor. Nope. So, yeah, that was a no. She didn't want to try it on. So we'll see come Halloween whether she's gonna wear it or not. So at least it didn't take me too long. So if she doesn't wear it this year, maybe she'll wear it next year. We'll see. But there we go, a little Red Riding Hood costume for Darcie. Oh, I'm actually wearing a handmade knit today, guys. This is the Autumn League Pullover from Two of Wands, and I believe there's a cowl going on right now because she revamped the pattern and added additional sizes. I knit up the smallest size, and I used Woolly's yarn. The pattern calls for, I want to say a cotton or a cotton blend, but I wanted something more woolly. I had a bunch of Woollies in my stash. This is something I made last year, 2021, I think, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, I love the little detail on the neck here that's made with traveling stitches. It definitely needs some love though, because it's pilling a whole bunch. It needs a good shave, but this one is great to wear when I'm around with Darcie because this is machine washable yarn. If it gets dirty or whatnot, I can just throw it in. Like, I don't have to worry about it too much. It's survived a few cycles already. But yeah, it's nice, roomy, raglan, free pattern. I'll link it if you guys are interested. Check it out. Okay, so let's get into the new yarn. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I've definitely mentioned it to some other people that I really shouldn't be buying any more yarn after Knit City, but here I am showing you some more yarn. It's kind of related to Knit City actually. So, Black Cat custom yarn. If you recall in my Knit City video, I bought their Light Bright or their Luxe Clara yarn. This is a worsted weight yarn, and it's has like an off-white base and a whole bunch of colorful, I was gonna say colorful sprinkles, but I guess so, yeah, but lots of rainbow happening there. So they announced that they were doing a little revamp, which meant that they were going to discontinue some yarn in the process of them moving forward with whatever that they're doing right now. So I bought some of their lace weight yarn, also in Luxe Clara or Light Bright. So I bought 3. They only had 3, and I decided to buy all 3. Here it is. So just like the worsted weight yarn, it's kind of, this one, although the base looks a bit more white, and yeah, again, same rainbow colors going on here. So this is lace weight. Maybe you're wondering, what am I going to do with lace weight yarn? Because I'm definitely not a tiny needle thin yarn knitter, but I thought it'd be interesting to hold this with a fingering weight yarn, so I could possibly get like a sport weight and do either like a DRK Everyday Sweater from Andrea Mowry. I was even thinking her Birch Pullover, so I could have a little bit of texture. That's a half fisherman rib knit sweater, but yeah, I don't want to hold it double because I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough yarn for whatever I decide to do, and I don't want to be that colorful. Why would I buy a colorful yarn if I don't want to be that colorful, right? But yeah, I want to hold it with another yarn, and I'm gonna let this one, you know, reside in my little stash locker for a while, definitely till next year. Yeah, because I really want to think about the best way to use this, and no rush on this because I have so many other things in my queue. So my next acquisition is actually going to look like something you've already seen, and I've already caked it up. And it is for my Chantilly cardigan, which I actually cast on today. But if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a reel about unpacking a vacuum sealed package of yarn, and what it was the fingering weight sage yarn from Isis Fibre Arts. So this is already caked up. So I bought 2 at Knit City and actually needed 2 more hanks. So I just got those in the mail. Michelle, very lovely, let me know when she had dyed up a new batch. And she sent them to me in a vacuum sealed package, which I've never received yarn in a vacuum sealed package, so I was kind of excited. It was quite flat, like it came in regular letter mail, and it was so flat, and it fit into my mailbox, which is, you know, only like that big. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Check out my reel. So what I'm going to do because the Chantilly cardigan is holding 2 strands of fingering with a strand of mohair. In my case, I have Syria alpaca. So what I'm doing is holding one from the dye lot that I bought at Knit City and one from the dye lot that I just received in the mail, just to help with blending the 2 together. And then because this is worked up with, you know, the strand of alpaca, I think that's going to help kind of blur any major variations. Not that there are, and I'm enjoying the bit of variation that this is knitting up. So yeah, I'm not very far. I literally just started casting this on. I just have, I don't know, like 3 rows. It's not gonna focus. So, oh, I'm getting tangled. I did have a little hiccup with this project. Oh, so no more acquisitions. I'm gonna go straight into talking about WIPs now. Yeah, the yarn was so nice, I swatched it twice. The Chantilly cardigan is knit up holding 2 strands of fingering with a strand of mohair. So that's what this swatch is. And then the collar is knit up only with a single strand of the fingering. So, I mean, they're gonna look the same to you, but obviously the drape is different. So my hiccup was that I could not get gauge with the recommended needle size, and sizing down in needles means that my main fabric is kind of on the stiff side. So I had a bit of a panic moment because obviously the fingering and the alpaca, the combination that I have is heavier than what's suggested or used in Penrose Knits pattern. So yeah, I kind of panicked and I was thinking, oh my god, am I gonna have to go back and find a new sage fingering weight? So yeah, I decided to, you know, work up the yarn, play with it a bit more, check the sizing of the pattern, and it turns out that the size that I would enjoy is actually in between size 2 and 3. So size 2 would only give me about 2 inches of ease, but size 3 would give me almost 7 inches of ease, and I think that's too much. So my plan is that I'm still using a smaller needle size than the recommended one, but my gauge is a little bit larger than the pattern gauge. So what I'm hoping happens is that my size that I knit up falls in between a size 2 and 3. The next thing I may have to worry about is whether I actually have enough of the fingering weight yarn. I definitely have enough of my alpaca, but what I just realized when I actually started to look at the pattern and start casting this on, I misread the yardage amount when I was shopping for the fingering weight yarn. I thought it said 1,200 meters, but it says 1,500 meters. So that gives me only 100 meters of wiggle room there if I make any modifications. Plus I've made 2 swatches, so if I have to buy another hank of fingering, I guess it's not the end of the world, but the cost of this cardigan is getting up there now. This is definitely going to be a very luxurious in terms of cost. I think it still might be cheaper, or I don't want to say cheap, less expensive than my Nora Wednesday sweater, but it's getting close. But anyways, I decided to cast this on because I want to wear this for Christmas dinner. I thought it would be a really nice Christmas dinner outfit. And I've started now so that I can take my time, and especially since with this like modification that I'm kind of doing with knitting it not in the proper gauge. So we shall see. So another thing I wanted to bring out today is, so I haven't been knitting as much as I would have liked. Darcie was under the weather, I was a little bit under the weather, just totally exhausted, not in the mood for knitting a whole bunch, and definitely not in the mood for like recording. Not that it's been, you know, a super long time since I last released a video, but I felt like my knitting mojo was like, meh. So, and part of that was, I feel this time of year with the excitement of, you know, fall and winter and getting cozy and knitting while being cozy in these cooler months, there's a lot of patterns that get released, or at least this is definitely the time of year where I pay attention to pattern releases, and there have been a lot of good patterns coming out, and they're all like these wonderful shiny objects that are catching my eye, and I want to knit all of them. I want to do all of them. They're making me buy more yarn than I plan to for the rest of 2022. And then comes this battle of, well, I already had these things in my queue with yarn already in my stash ready to go, and now I've bought new yarn for these other shiny objects, you know, hanging over here, and my old WIPs, my current WIPs are like, hey, what about us? I guess you could say I'm getting a little overwhelmed. So instead of working on a lot of my WIPs, I just started swatching everything that I had planned, and I'll show you guys those, and maybe you can help me pick what I should actually be working on. I probably should also show you my actual WIPs, but I'm too lazy to get up right now. Okay, so doing lots of swatching to try to help me figure out, maybe help me focus on what I actually want to knit up this fall winter. Oh, this one I just wanted to show just because it was interesting. This was my swatch for my Nora Wednesday sweater, and some of you may be thinking, well, that looks very like cream and purple, which is kind of like a caution to anyone who is swatching for anything that's using like a colored yarn like this, because if you've seen my Wednesday sweater, it actually looks quite blue. So just by chance, I got the yarn that's all just cream and purple for my swatch. So definitely not indicative of the actual color of my sweater, but anyways, thought I'd show you guys that. So I guess it's not that many swatches. Well, I just showed you 2 for the Chantilly cardigan. So I want to make Darcie cable sweater. So this is a swatch for the mini Moby sweater. And this is alpaca yarn from We Are Knitters, Rainbow Sprinkle. Bought it on sale. Otherwise, I normally wouldn't order from We Are Knitters. Oh, but you know what? I was running out of mohair for a WIP of mine, and I wanted to get free shipping. So I bought more yarn. But anyways, yeah, I've swatched this up. And I've also swatched up for a Friday tee for myself. This is Cascade fingering weight yarn. It's a really nice Peruvian Highland wool. The colors, I've chosen to do kind of like a lower contrast stripes. So the lighter color is called Buff, and the brown is called Doe Skin. And yeah, I've got all the ends going in here because I actually swatched like in the round technique. It looks kind of like a little mini rug. I could use it as like a little coaster or something. So there's that. And then I've also swatched the Drops Air, which I showed in my last video from my wool warehouse haul. And this is going to be used for a cardigan for Darcie. And then another swatch I made is out of the brushed alpaca, also from my last video from Wool Warehouse. This one's not blocked, so that's why it looks kind of funky. But this is a single strand, and it is fluffy, guys. Like, this is super fluffy. And I swatched it. Oh, not focused. There we go. I'm actually considering just knitting it up with a single strand because it's so fluffy. So I might size down in a needle size, so it's not like too holey. But yeah, it is so fluffy. I did start swatching it with 2 strands, which is what you do for the Cumulus Blouse. Sorry, I didn't say like this is for a Cumulus Blouse. But with the recommended needle size, it was too dense, and I thought, well, I could go up a size or 2 and still knit double strand or 2 strands held together, but I don't know if I was gonna like that fabric, so I'm thinking single strand. But I also just want to throw this swatch back in my stash locker, and this is gonna be next year's problem because I've got other things to do. So my current WIPs, I've got a Marseilles sweater, I've got a Paloma sweater, and I've also got a tiger for Darcie, which I have to finish by the 30th for her birthday. So the tiger for Darcie has sat on my shelf for weeks. It was completely knit up, like all the pieces were done a long time ago, and then I just get to this point of where you're supposed to sew up all the pieces, and I procrastinate on that part so much. Like back in my crochet days, that was the part where I would just have pieces of stuffed toys, amigurumi, just like in bags, because I didn't want to sew them up together. But because this is a gift and it is for her birthday, I've told myself I need to finish it, and I'm very close. I have all the pieces actually stuffed and sewn up, and I'm waiting for the head and the ears to dry. I decided to block these a bit because my tension for the color work was a little bit tight in areas, so I thought, why not try sort of blocking them? I did not bother blocking any of the other pieces. But yeah, once this is dry enough, I'll stuff. Oh, I need eyes and a nose. But yes, since it's wet, I get to procrastinate a little bit more and work on something else. So I've got all these swatches, but there's also all these other petite knit patterns that I want to work on. I want to make a Sophie Shawl. I want to make a Moby sweater for myself. I just remembered I'm also working a little scarf for myself with the yarn from Okanagan Dye Works that I got at Knit City. The little 5 mini pack of skeins. I think I have mohair fluff on my face. Yeah, so what do you guys do when there are so many things to knit but not enough hands or time? How do you decide what you actually should knit? And because of all these choices, I'm kind of frozen in a standstill of, well, I can't even knit what I currently have on my needles because I don't know if that's where I want to invest my time. This is a strange dilemma. So, and part of me is feeling like, even though I've got these plans to make things for Darcie, oh my god, I just remembered I'm working on a skirt for Darcie too. See guys, I just got WIPs coming about everywhere. I need to focus somehow. Maybe that will be like my pre-New Year's resolution. I need to make this statement now, like focus on one knit at a time or something like that. Oh, I don't know, monogamous knitting. Never really been one of those. But yeah, part of me wants to just make things for myself, but part of me thinks, well, Darcie's only this small for so long, so I should enjoy knitting the small things while I can. I don't know. What do you guys think? What should I do? Another thing with the ones that I've planned for Darcie is the amount of yarn I have is for, you know, the size that she is right now. So I probably should knit those first because I don't think I'm going to change my size drastically anytime soon. So yeah, maybe, is that the answer? Knit things for Darcie first? Well, except for my Chantilly cardigan and my Marseilles sweater and my Paloma sweater. But knit for Darcie? Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to stop there before I start rambling a little bit too much. Thanks for hanging out with me amidst my confusion, my dilemma, my problem of trying to choose what to knit for the rest of this year and early next year. If you want to continue following along my journey, please do subscribe. And until next time, happy knitting. See you in the next one. Bye.